organic spirit coming together.
Yeah.
I seen this young man right here mashing. I said, look like me. He doing what I do. You know what I mean? And we would see each other. We would see each other, but it was more social media.
Right, right.
Just keep doing what you're doing. We're gonna connect. What's up?
Yes, sir.
What's
How
up?
you doing?
Oh man, doing my thing.
But this man needs no introduction, but I'm definitely gonna give him one out of respect. This man is Big A.
Yeah.
He is a legendary promoter, music artist. What else? Producer?
Okay. No. I don't produce. I don't make beats. I don't rap.
Oh no, yeah.
My thing was executive administration. What was missing from artists today? Independent artists who came from record labels was trained to be artists. They didn't know about one sheets, they didn't know about barcodes, they didn't know about distribution, they didn't know about manufacturing, they didn't know about independent distribution. So Eazy gave me the blueprint. And one thing about Pete Jones, thank you, man, he was the president of BMG. And he's cutting my record shop, came down from Beverly Hills to sit with me because he was picking my brain. How do I do the things I do in the community with no urban dollars? You know what I mean? So he told me one thing, he said, Arnold, this record shop is holding you back. And this was the time Napster was coming in, Livewire and all that was coming in, and downloads was coming. And he said, you know what, the industry finna change. We finna start dealing directly to the consumer. I'm like, that's fucked up. What's gonna happen to me? He said, Arnold, I'm gonna give you some advice. He said, you shut the record store down and get ahead of the other retailers. Some are not gonna survive. But with you and what you do and the passion you have and the artists you deal with, you need to be better off in the streets. You'd be better off to take the music back. I'm like, what you mean by that? He said, what I mean by that, you got the artists, your friends, making the music in their garages and stuff. They bring them to a record label that we distribute. It's out of your hands, out of their hands. Because I was complaining about a retailer. I was complaining about retail prices wholesale. Like if a new 50 Cent came out, they would charge me $12.29 at the wholesale distributor, Abbey Road or AAC, right? But Best Buy, get it for $9.99, have it for 90 days on consignment. So I would go to Best Buy with a stolen credit card and buy as many as I can because the One Stop didn't take credit cards from retailers, it was cash and carry. So I had to find ways. So I would tell Pete Jones them that. And then he told me, you gotta take the music back. Oh, okay. He said, everything that you know about the game, you can educate other artists. Oh, okay, all right. I took it as an insult. But as the industry started not giving the one-stops to new records because they stopped pressing up CDs, I knew it was time to shut down. So I transferred all my record stops, all my plaques and everything to my uncle's shop on Manchester and Normandy over there. And we opened up the Underworld Records #2. And I was able to come out and start managing Cocaine. He was the first artist that gave me opportunity. He had to deal with Scotty Brothers Records. And there was a song that Huston made called This is for the E. So the marketing director, the promotion guy, knew that I knew the streets. So they hired me to do marketing. But that gave me an opportunity to walk inside the record label. Like, oh shit, I want to do this. As an executive, oh man, this is it. So I took advice. I took Harry O's advice, not to be all dancing in the videos, being all in the camera. So I said, you know, the artist is for the artist. I'm gonna be for the artist. So I'm just gonna take what I know. I'm gonna take the Eazy-E blueprint. Nigel, come on in, man. This is Nigel, little Nate Dogg right here.
What's
Nigel,
up, brother?
Nigel.
Good to see you,
doing
man.
an interview right now, Nigel. He's part of the album. Yeah. So they actually playing your shit right now, man. Tell Eastwood to start that over. Yeah, nephew. All love. Go on in there. I'll be in there in a minute. So that gave me the passion to say, you know what? I'm not gonna be a manager. Everybody, management, what you want me to manage? You can manage yourself. But if you need some administration, let me show you what a one sheet is. Let me show you how to get a barcode. Let me train you on IRC code. Let me show you how to make your one record into 4. You know what I mean? So that's what it is, man.
Now you talked about, first of all, that's so important. I think that's the thing that kind of gets overlooked in the business. We're so looking at the music videos, obviously the songs, the production, but the business side. And we've seen countless stories, not just from the athletes, but also from the artists, the entertainers as well. When you talk about learning from the late, great Eazy-E, and then obviously seeing his son now, Lil Eazy-E, with this project with Dillinger, coming full circle, what is that like? What goes through your mind when you see that evolution of just music and artistry and things like that in the business side?
You know, I buried Eazy. I buried my homeboy. I'm the one who came up with the concept, the idea to put him in the ground. I told him it's right into me because we can't leave Eric out here in a 24 karat gold casket. put him in the ground, and we'll symbolically bury Eric. We want to see him in the ground and dirt on top of him. So they agreed to that. So I had Yella, original Kilo G, E3, which is here, and Eazy. Yella is E3's godfather. So I got the shovels from the pallbearers, and it was Eric and Derek who put the first dirt. Then we passed the shovel around to everybody that was at the mortuary. And that's when I decided to make sure I keep his legacy alive, keep Compton on the map. So I knew everybody had turned their back on Eric based on the stuff that was going around. I know a lot of other stuff that was going on. And people still was dissing him on his deathbed. And, just a lot of bullshit. So I decided to keep his legacy alive. And I did a documentary on Eric, me and Lil E. He was 17 when we first did our documentary called The Life and Times of Eric Wright, which was all good stuff. It was about his life, no bitches and hoes, none of that. It was just about him and the artists that was contributing to his legacy, like TQ, the Brad, Jermaine Dupri. They was doing concerts, and I would go back there doing this. I used to do this, and I would do interviews. Hey, can you give the family a shout out? Talk about Eazy. Oh yeah, man. So I put all that stuff together, and I gave Miss Wright the masters. I gave her a copy of the masters, and I promised her I would never use this footage for my personal financial gain. Right. And I stuck to that. So when Eric became 17, prior to him graduating, he went through a little something, and I decided to put the DVD out and make him as a producer. That's when we created Lil E Records. So basically, in 2002, that's when, in 2001, Daz used to come to the record shop and hang out. And then Lil Eric was asked to come up there and hang out with me on the weekend. So I would let him come up and hang out because my whole store was dedicated to Eazy-E and NWA. I had one wall just with his plaques and pictures and stuff. So his kids would come there, they was all babies. They just knew that. And they would come here and look. So I told Daz one day, this is Lil Eazy, man. He said, what? Yeah. We're gonna start Lil E Records. Oh man, I support that, Big A. Okay, cool. But that was our beginning stages of the independent game. So we were grinding, pressing up records, selling for $8 while Eric was still in school. So we would go pick up and let him hang out with us a little bit. So we decided that I want him to be an executive. I didn't want him to rap. I want him to be an executive. You don't have to rap, Eric. What you need, nephew? You know this is.
Oh, I didn't know.
That's Julian. That's Snoop's oldest son.
How you doing, brother? Nice to meet you,
Second.
man. Good to see you, man.
Second old. That's our business partner. He's part of the Stuff Campaign.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
He's my business partner.
Get that in there.
All that. That's a whole different story there. But, so my vision was for Eric, once he said I wanted to rap, he had to go fly. And he went and got a multi-million-dollar deal at Virgin Records.
I remember that.
Nothing ever came out.
Okay.
Jermaine Dupri went over there and put the record to the back burner and let Eric go. And then Daz went over there and put out a record with Rick Ross. So that was another relationship. Okay, so I'm feeling bad. Like, man, I want him to hit. So then he went to Blackground Records with Aaliyah, uncle, Kadar. You know what I mean? He went over there. And then from there, he still didn't get no records out. So I was always thinking, his daddy ain't letting him put a record out until he comes to the right situation. So when he came back, I had learned so much more about the music business. So when he came back, his whole travel, his whole incident, he came back like, Unc, I'm ready. Okay, hang out. Let me get you back with Daz and the Dogg Pound, Snoop Dogg, and keep this thing going. And I brought him back around, and from there, I kept growing him, got him on Growing Up Hip Hop, got him on television. Hey, Eric, we're more than a rapper. Now you're a brand. Started our merchandising, just started touring, him doing tribute to his dad. So from there, I took him to Taiwan with Daz.
I saw that. That was hard. I like that.
Out of the country with us, with his uncle and Daz.
Okay.
So once he got out there, and we sold out 2 shows in Taiwan, the energy was there. Daz backed him up. He backed Daz up. The chemistry kicked. So Daz said, as soon as we get back, we're going to work. We're going to knock a record out in 2 weeks. I didn't believe Daz. I said, Daz, I don't need you borrowing beats from this artist and getting beat. No, I need you to cook up what you did for Pop, what you did for Murder Was the Case, what you did for all that. I need you to cook it. He said, no more, Big A. So he cooked it up. And the first song was A-Ball Sippin'. And me and Eric went to Daz's studio, and I heard that beat, and it was like, easy. I'm like, Eric said, I can't rap tonight, man. I got to take this home because this is deep. So we brought in a writer who knew E, and his name is Eric, co-writer, and they cooked up the shit. And that's like, I'm paying for everything. Let's go. So Eazy let that happen because it's Death Row Ruthless.
Lastly, Big A, when we hear about people like yourself, people like, you talk about Harrio who just got home, but he had the business ingenuity to put things together, Big C style. We know a lot of brothers from the block, man, that really have this ingenuity, that really have the skills and the street smarts and the business smarts to get these things done. Why don't we hear more about people like yourself and the people I name and even others? What is it going to take to get those stories to be put out there, to be able for people to understand that you guys are an intricate part in the foundation to making sure that these records get put out there and these records continue to get consumed by the fans?
Well, the names you just said, everybody has the gift. You know what I mean? But it's a lot of individualities going on right now. It's a lot of ones that was in the game that's not in the game and have other things going on in their lives. But those are my friends, you know what I mean? If it wasn't the Big C style, I wouldn't be doing DPG Records, because that was him and Daz. He blessed me because they let me come into Long Beach. I'm from Compton. I lived in Long Beach for 14 years, around all of them. That's how I got a pass. I checked in, you know what I mean? So, and then, my business, mine, my gift, and I had no ill will on anything, any decisions I made. There was no, I'm gonna do, So Snoop seen that as well. So he brought me in to do all of his underground stuff. I put out about maybe 20 records on Snoop.
Like the mixtapes and things like
Welcome to the Churches and all, that's all Big A. The little independent films, I shoot them, Snoop didn't produce them, I press them up. There's one thing about Snoop, he give you opportunities. You know what I mean? One thing about Daz, he give you opportunities. Corrupt opportunities. So I take those as blessings. I take them as like Eazy put me in this position because this is the fruit from that tree that he created. It's the seed.